Hey, hi, hello everyone. It is Mama Smash here with today's speed build and continuing our 12 days of Simsmas series here. So today is day 3 of the 12 days of Simsmas, which means we're on to 3 French hens as the song goes. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos in the series yet, let me explain how this works. Starting with the first day of Christmas, which is Christmas Day, I will be putting out a speed build every day of the 12 days of Christmas, and each build will do the following. 1, it will be a different lot type distinct from any of the other builds. 2, it will be in a different world than any of the other builds. 3, it will have a specific object that represents that day. So for instance, today is 3 French hens because it's the 3rd day of Christmas. So we have a little hen statue that will be our object for today. And I have to use that in this build at least 3 times, which I do. And the final thing is that every day after this one, I have to use the objects from all of the days before at least once in the build. So from the first day, we have the partridge in a pear tree. There's a pear tree, and there is a pear tree in this build. And then from yesterday, we have 2 turtle doves. So there is a dove statue, a gold dove statue that played heavily into the build from yesterday, and it shows up in today's build as well. So that is the 12 days of Christmas. Today's lot type is a cafe. This is 3. I don't know if it's on 3 on the gallery, but it is French Hen Cafe, and it is built in Windenburg. If you don't have, I think, get together, you don't have to put it down in Windenburg. That's fine. But I think the cafe lot type actually came with Windenburg, so that might be something there. But it is in Windenburg today, and it is French Hen Cafe. So it was really fun kind of trying to research for this one. I didn't really know how I wanted to bring in the French aspect, and so I tried to do kind of a French-inspired cafe. Don't at me, I don't know that much about French architecture, but I did try to do a little bit of research and kind of get the general feel of what a cafe in France might feel like. So it was fun. I tried to stick with some main colors of kind of blue and white throughout the build. And then because a lot of the pictures that I looked at of trying to do research for this build ended up having a second story that kind of had windows, and I thought that look was really nice, I ended up putting an apartment on top of this. So if you had a sim that, really liked coffee or something, that they could always, live where their favorite cafe is, and just, live upstairs, I guess. So I started out with the outside of the build and was trying to get this kind of like fresh look of this cafe. So I started putting flower boxes out there. I knew I wanted to have an outdoor seating area. It's in a lot that's right by the water, so that there's this kind of almost serene cafe. I can picture somebody just sitting out on the tables when they get out there in, the summer, reading a book or something, or having a nice chat with a friend, when we can do that in real life again after the pandemic. So here we are adding the tables in. I thought the umbrella was a nice touch, and especially this one matching the canopies that kind of come off the building. I thought that was very nice, and the blue and white really added to the overall kind of vibe of the cafe. So yeah, it was fun to try to find the objects for today. So let me tell you, the first 7 days, I think, of the 12 days of Christmas are birds, and there is the partridge in a pear tree. So I could use a pear tree for the first one, but a partridge is a type of bird. So trying to find, there's not birds. It's not like we have pet birds or something in The Sims 4. And so I did find this little hen statue. It is a mother hen, so it has eggs around it. And so I considered using it later this week for the geese a laying, but they're not geese. It is clearly a chicken. It's clearly a hen. So that you know, I tried. So we have a hen statue, and some little hens with the statue, and there are 3 of them. It comes in 3 colors. I don't remember if I used all 3 of the colors, but I definitely tried. And it was really fun to just figure out where they fit. And then the pear tree ends up in one of these outer planter boxes that I'm putting down right now. And I actually got these out of Debug, which is kind of fun. If you don't normally go into Debug to play and you're wanting to try that, there's some pretty cool things in there that, are used in the game, and it is just a different way to kind of play. So if you want to do that, you have to type in 2 levels of cheats to get there. So you do Control-Shift-C to get your cheat bar up in your top left-hand corner. And then you're going to type in bb.show hidden objects, enter, and then you'll type in again, you'll say bb.show live edit objects, enter. And so if you do that, then you open up a bunch of things that you have, like trees and things like that, that are in the worlds, but we don't always have access to in the just normal build mode if you don't have that unlocked, as well as just lots of different live edit things. There's like cars, like actual cars. We don't have to, size them up. You still can't use them. They just sit there and look pretty, but they do look pretty, that's for sure. I got this little mailbox that I kind of put out there right there, in from Debug, and I actually just noticed this past week that now you can click to sort by Debug, which I haven't really tested how much that works yet, but I have used it a bit in this build and a couple of the other builds for the 12 Days of Simsmas, and it definitely is helpful. So, go ahead and try that if you want and see how you like it. There's definitely some fun things in there, and it kind of lets you play around a bit more with what things could look like. It definitely helps me add with clutter, like I like to do at the end of builds, just to make it a bit more realistic. And we'll kind of see that when I get towards the end and I'm putting some clutter around. And so now I'm adding the staircase into the back. I put a couple of trash cans, and I put a mailbox. It's not a usable mailbox unless you have this as your actual house, and then you'd have to change the lot type as well. But yeah, so then I'm kind of laying out this apartment. I changed the layout a little bit throughout the build. I knew I wanted this kind of like entryway, and I wanted like a big bathroom that had a nice view out the window, and then I just wanted like a 1-bedroom apartment, but that could sleep 2 Sims. So I wanted a double bed that wasn't against the wall, so you could actually sleep 2 Sims there. So I tried with this big tub at first, and it was too big. I ended up just using a normal tub instead of one of these like corner jacuzzi type tubs. But I tried to make it very elegant. The outside of the build and downstairs in the cafe itself really have this blue, like a deeper blue and white tones in their coloring. And then upstairs in the apartment, it keeps that blue, but it's more of like a powder blue, a really light blue, as well as a light pink. And then like white and black. So it's kind of white and black, but then has these pink and blue, light blue accents, as you'll kind of see kind of going through there. And I'll play around with the layout of the bathroom especially. I added in this little like powder room off of the bathroom. I kind of like the idea of having a vanity in there. Just seemed kind of fancy to me, and this apartment feels fancy. It feels like the sophisticated person that just drinks coffee all the time and is maybe a writer or something and lives above this coffee shop. So I really like the idea of having a vanity, but it didn't quite work with the layout there, so I ended up putting it into the bedroom later. And yeah, it was really fun to do this one. I enjoy making community lots. I really like making houses too, and so this I think is kind of a best of both worlds situation where I get to make a community lot because it's a cafe downstairs, but I also kind of get to make it into a house too because it has this little apartment space upstairs. And if you do like want to have this be a cafe, but your sim to kind of live here, sort of. You still have to have them have a home lot somewhere else, but you could have them just kind of stay here all the time. Then you just have to make the front door closed to anyone outside your household. So yeah, and it's been kind of fun to figure out where all this stuff goes. You can see I'm starting to put in these blue and pink accents. I also really wanted to have a fireplace. I don't know how realistic that is, but again, I just felt like this was a very sophisticated apartment, and so I thought that having a fireplace really kind of amped that up. And so now I'm finally figuring out what I want to do with the bathroom, moving the vanity into the bedroom, and then trying to figure out where I want to put some like bookcases. I wanted a desk and to have like a little living room space. And then once I kind of got the layout somewhat figured out, I went downstairs, made sure there was bathrooms. There's the little coffee bar where people can go and order their coffee, which is, part of the lot requirements for a cafe. And then I have these little chandeliers, which I thought were really pretty. Just kind of added this same kind of sophistication that I was trying to get with the apartment upstairs, this sort of elegance. And I tried not to add too many tables and chairs in. I'll end up getting rid of some of the ones I have out now, as well as putting in a little like seating area. So there will be a couch and a couple chairs and a rug and things like that. And then of course there'll be a little section that has a jug that could have like, that's where you would get your milk or your sugar for your coffee or tea or whatever. So and now I'm bringing in the pear tree and the statue, the sculpture of the doves and the French hen statues, trying to figure out where they're going to go. I tried to put the pear tree inside, but I realized when you size it down, the pears don't size down, so they're just kind of floating in midair. So I ended up taking out the trees on the front side of the building and putting a pear tree over there. You can size it up and your Sims can still harvest from it, but again, when you size it down, the pears just sort of hover in midair and it looks ridiculous. So I sized it up one, which again, you do that by using your bracket keys if you're using build sheets to try to get a different look. So now I'm putting in this little coffee bar over here. That's like where I said you might have milk or sugar or things like that. And then I'm also going to put a little like busser station on there. So I just use a trash can and then raise it up so it kind of looks like it's one of those, bins that you can put dishes in, and then the bus person kind of takes them and washes them or whatever. And then from Debug I get some cups and bowls and some silverware and things like that, and just kind of like place them in there so it looks authentically like there's this little bussers thing that once you're done with your coffee you can leave it there. And so one of the French hens you can see is on that table right there in the section with the couch and the chairs. You can see the dove statues on the wall over those couches, and the pear tree, like I said, is outside. So you now have seen one of the hen statues, and that's there. There'll be another one up in the apartment, and then the third one I won't place till like the very end, and I end up sizing one of them up a bit and putting it just over the center of the door to the inside of the cafe. So it's kind of like this little mascot underneath the sign. So yeah, so I finished downstairs and now I'm kind of moving upstairs, worked on that entryway, trying to figure out lighting and make sure it's not too dark anywhere. And then I'll kind of go in and try to figure out where I want things to be and where doors are going to be, things like that. I wanted there to be some sort of dresser. I liked the idea of this kind of little reading corner in the bedroom right by the window, so you could kind of look out onto the street down below. And then again, trying to keep with the blue and pink accents just kind of throughout the build. So I'll switch up where I had the couch and where I had the desk so that they're flipped. So I have this kind of little seating area, living room in front of the fireplace, over closer to the bedroom, and then when you first walk in, there's the kitchen, a little dining space, and a bookshelf with a big bookcase. So, and then the bathroom will stay mostly how it is. I'm going to add in a washer and dryer over in the corner. I figured that's always helpful to have. And I think there should be a hamper right next to it as well. If there's not, you might need to add that in. If you get it off the gallery, which you can. All of these builds are available on the gallery. My ID for the Sims 4 gallery is Mama Smash RR. And if you're looking specifically for any of the 12 Days of Simsmas builds that I'm doing, you can look under the hashtag Mama Smash Simsmas on the Sims 4 gallery, and all of them will be tagged with that so that you can look it up there and get any of the 12 Days of Simsmas builds that you would like to get. So there we go. I tried to do the light pink and blue with the washer and dryer, but it was just too much, and the bathroom is much more modern, I feel like, with all black and white. There isn't really much color. There's the little rugs that are kind of this like light blue, but honestly they're closer to a gray enough that it doesn't really matter. So I just did the black and white, and it's kind of still very classy, very chic, and it's got some robes on the wall, again adding to that kind of sophistication, and then putting the soap and some little lotion things onto the counters as well. And there's 2 sinks, which just to me like screams fancy. I don't know about you. Let me know down in the comments if I told you I was going to build a sophisticated or fancy apartment, what would you expect to be in that apartment? I know for me, a fireplace, maybe like a little island or a really nice kitchen, those scream fancy to me, as well as apparently having robes on the wall in your bathroom. So let me know down in the comments today what you envision as a fancy apartment, what it might have. And so now we're putting paint up on the walls, keeping with that blue and pink theme. I found this tile that I actually really liked, but I couldn't find a gray that matched it to go with the rest of the room. So it didn't really make sense because it had tile, so you could have it as a backsplash in the kitchen, which I really liked, and the top was gray, which looked good. It didn't interfere with the color scheme, but I couldn't find that same gray just in a normal wallpaper shade or paint shade, so it looked weird. So there's that final or secondary, I guess, hen statue is up there. There's a rooster statue next to it. They're both on top of the fireplace, which I thought was kind of funny. One of them is blue and one of them is pink. I thought that was a fun touch. And now we're just kind of putting some flowers down and getting towards the end of the build, putting in those different details that I really like to put in. And again, I opened up the debug menu to try to find some of those debug items that really make this look. So I have this little boat, gravy boat sort of thing, and a little milk jug thing. So you can imagine that would be where you would get your milk or your sugar from if this was your own coffee shop that you were visiting. So, and then there's that busser bin that I was talking about. So again, I just kind of raised up a trash can enough that it was above the counter, and then I put a bunch of bowls and plates and things in there so that it looks like it's a little busser station. So that was kind of fun. And then I love this coffee poster. I think it came with Cool Kitchen stuff. It has like a rooster on a rooster chalkboard on the main swatch, but this is like one of the later swatches. It looks much more like a poster, but I think it's pretty cute. So, and then a little pastry table thing over here added to the little cream and sugar corner. So now I'm just trying to find an outdoor chalkboard sign, and that'll be one of the last things I put out in the build. And again, if you like today's video or you want to keep following along with the 12 Days of Simsmas, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe. And again, if you want to find any of these on the gallery, my gallery ID is Mama Smash RR, and they will all be available under the hashtag Mama Smash Simsmas. So that is how you can find any of these builds if you want to use them in your own gameplay. And let me know if you really enjoy the this build or if you've enjoyed any of the other two. So as we're wrapping up, I'm just kind of checking the lighting, and that'll be it for today. So thanks everyone. Hope you're having a smashing day. Bye!